Hi, I'm Dave. This is another video in my Subtle Aspects of Being Human series. In this particular video, I want to talk about dragons. Yes, dragons. So we're going to talk about dragons in a way that is going to reference the other videos that I've done in the series with regards to other subtle aspects of being human and how it relates to dragons. At the same time, as a side note, in one of my cards, which happens to be the Eight of Swords, you'll find a dragon on it. And when I get done with this video, you may be able to see the connection between the concept of the Eight of Swords with the concept of dragons. So, dragons. Dragons are real. They are as real as anything else you can imagine. So let's talk about the framework of a dragon for just a moment. Dragons, most of you have probably all seen a dragon of some sort or another. Even if it's from the furry little doll that you might find at the toy store, or to the big gold-bearing dragon that you would see on the Lord of the Rings, one of the Lord of the Rings movies. Or you could have seen pictures of a dragon, or you could have seen, you could have experiences with a dragon based upon novels that you have read, or fictional novels that you had read, okay? So the concept of a dragon is generally pretty clear. There's derivatives of that like Godzilla. There's derivatives of it like Jurassic Park with the dinosaurs. The whole concept of dinosaurs kind of fits into this too. But dinosaurs have some physical evidence left behind that the dragons don't seem to have. Dragons, when you think of a dragon, it's pretty clear that you're thinking of, you know, a reptilian. It's got a tail, it's got a long neck, it's generally fire breathing, it's got scales on the outside, it's got huge wings, it can fly like a bird, it can burn villages. So dragons are very much part of the experience, are part of the belief system, are part of our human experience. Dragons are just as real as anything else that you might talk about. When you have a conversation with somebody about a dragon, you know what you're talking about. Two people can understand the concept of a dragon. Now, when you go looking into the dragon a little bit farther, you have to wonder about how you feel about the dragon. So put yourself in the aspect of a movie. The movie comes on, the dragon comes out, the dragon eats people, okay? And the way that it's presented is that this dragon comes in and the fear element comes up, or the survival element comes up, or the battle element comes up, whatever it is that brings up a primal feeling. It brings up an emotion that you in the audience get to feel that emotion. So the collection of the images, the collection of the narration, a collection of the feelings that are interacting from you and those around you that watch the movie, that have the experience of the dragon eating people or destroying their village or destroying their town, comes across as being as real as anything else. It's like you have a dream at night where you dream of a dragon, and that dragon interacts with you, and when you wake up, your heart's beating fast, or you're sweating, or there was some other type of physical interaction that occurred because that dream you had with the dragon was as real as anything can be. It was as if you felt it. Of course, you did feel it. There's emotions associated with that. There is your own perception for feeling that. Now, with that dragon, the question is, where is that dragon real? Where does that dragon exist? Does it exist here in our physical plane, or does it exist in the mental plane? So, generally, we would want to be able to do something to be able to figure out where this dragon exists. So take for example, so we'll get right back to that. Take for example, a situation where you go to a strange town, and in that strange town, you park your car, you're in the car, you get out, and you walk down the street, And all of a sudden, you start feeling uncomfortable. There's this overwhelming fear where you're looking around and you're wondering what's going on here. And you get that feeling that there's danger, that there is an essence of, fright that you might have, or an essence of the hair standing up on the back of your neck, something that comes up from within you to help you understand your environment a little better. Or basically, it's bringing up a warning sign showing that there's danger here, and your body is reacting. You, as a spirit, are projecting through. You go back to that high priestess, and that high priestess is pumping through an emotion that you can feel and you can recognize in your environment. So in that strange town, in that strange environment, you feel something. You can choose to honor that or not. You can choose to recognize that or not. You can choose to bring your awareness to that or not. Okay, thus we have the magician card that lets you make a choice with regards to it. You can leave it being subconscious, like the Fool, or you can act on that and you can make it part of your real life experience. Well, as real as life gets, okay? But there was an essence of who you are as a human when you actually walked out into that environment and this feeling came up from within saying danger or watch out or you want to be aware of your situation. Be careful. Okay, so that your inner self was warning you through these emotions, through your intuitive understanding. Okay, that is the high priestess. So another thing, when you think about the dream space. The dream space, you can be there. You can have the most vivid dream. You can have the perception of smell, the perception of taste, the perception of touch. That all happens in this dream space. That when you wake up, you immediately recognize that you had an experience that was as real as anything else you've done in life. Okay, but you're aware of the fact that you just woke up. It was a dream. Okay, but who's to say that dream wasn't real? But you waking up realize that it didn't happen in the physical plane. Okay, it didn't happen here. It didn't originate here. Okay, it originated in the mind space. It originated in a space where there was emotion associated with it, and it bled through into the physical space. So there was a merging that happened there. Now we look at, we want to reference the aspect that we find on the Empress card. The Empress card is the one that talks about the natural cycles of things. When you plant a seed, you expect the plant to grow a particular way, behave a particular way, fruit or seed the same way. And it's well understood. And in your experience of life, there are well-defined rules that the natural world follows. So something in the natural world chances are going to follow those rules. Okay, it's going to obey the typical rules of physics. It's going to obey the typical rules of optics. It's going to obey those typical rules. Birds, they tend to fly, and they tend to have characteristics associated with them that make it possible for them to fly. Okay? When you look at the concept of a dragon, that dragon, the aspects of the natural world need to be suspended on a number of things in order to believe that a dragon could exist in the natural world. So with regards to the wings, sure, we see bats flying around with no feathers. Okay, but the weight to wing ratio is pretty much well established that we can see that, I can understand why a bat can fly. Okay, you kind of have to suspend the natural world to think that an organic creature can blow flames. Okay, that's generally in the realm of machines. Now, sure, a plane could do that, but could an organic thing do that? Is something going to create scales that are at the level of defense that a dragon would have? Well, sure, we can see scales on dragons and fish and whatnot, but from the organic world, is it going to withstand, an arrow? Probably not. because that comes from a slightly different realm. It's a different part of our physical experience. The Empress shows us this, that it's outside of the natural laws. And so when we look at the dragon, and dragons can talk, unlike most other things. At least there are a lot of dragons that can talk. You watch them on the shows all the time. It's as if they're human, okay? So we have these dragons that can do things that are outside the natural world, okay? That when you look at your own experiences, you would think that, well, you would have to suspend what you know to be undeniable experiences in order to allow a dragon to come into your physical experience. So here we have a situation where if we look at the Hierophant now. The Hierophant is basically somebody telling you something. Okay, it is a belief system that somebody might have. So now we have a situation where there's a dragon. Okay, somebody defines that dragon. They tell you all about the dragon. They tell you about the different things that this dragon can do. It tells you how this dragon is going to eat you. This dragon is going to destroy your neighborhood. This dragon is going to shut down your economy. This dragon is going to do all kinds of these really bad things. By the way, this is a fire-breathing dragon. It is hatched from an egg, and it grows up to be huge. It can talk. It knows English. And this fire-breathing dragon is going to get you if you step out of your house. You can't go outside your house unless you close your eyes. You wear a blindfold. That's the only time you can go. You have to wear the blindfold in order for you to go out and survive in the real world, because this dragon's there and it's going to eat you. So you got to watch out for that. Okay, so now you hear what this expert is saying. You hear what this person with authority is saying. You hear what this person with letters and numbers behind their name, because they have studied this. They know what dragons can do. And they tell you that the dragons have been eating people on the other side of the world. They've been eating people on the moon, and they've been eating people under the oceans. They've been eating people everywhere. Now, you, as a human, you hear what they're saying. Okay, they're saying all these things that in your interactions with them only lives in the mind space. Yet the way that they craft this information about the dragon bleeds over to trigger an emotion. That emotion comes up, that fear emotion, that danger emotion comes up. And so when you think about dragons, you think danger, you think fear associated with it. You think that I have to protect myself associated with this. Yet, Thus you put on the blindfold in order to go out and do things. Yet, the Empress is here to help us out a little bit, saying, wait a minute, what they're saying doesn't quite jive with what I know to be true in my experiences in the natural world. There seems to be inconsistencies here. They don't seem to line up. There's nothing in my existence that shows that something can breathe fire. Sure, there's other things that can happen, but I wonder about that, okay? Now, there's other things associated with that natural world that would make me question it. But if I go a little bit deeper, I go back to the High Priestess. The High Priestess is about that emotion that comes from within and that feeling that I have in my environment. When I step outside today, there's nothing in my spirit that says, danger, there's a dragon on the roof that's going to eat you. Okay? When I step out, there's nothing like that that says, look over your shoulder and be prepared because this dragon's there. That inner understanding that comes out basically comes out from the spirit, comes out from the inner being to be able to show you what it senses in the environment so you can interact with it. That sense, when I step outside my home today, shows that there's no danger there. Why do I need to be scared of this dragon that is on the roof? Well, because when I step outside, well, not only do I not feel this, but I do know that when I go into environments where there is danger, the hair on the back of my neck can stand up. the feeling that I would have would heighten my awarenesses for my sound and for my smell and for all these different things so that I could be prepared to handle that state of encountering the dragon. But I'm not sensing that. So where does the dragon live? The dragon, to me, very clearly lives in the state of the mind. The dragon lives in the state of the imagination. The dragon in the imagination can have physical effects on you if the emotion comes through and bleeds over to our physical experience. But is there a physical dragon in this environment? Well, my other senses aren't telling me that the dragon exists here. So, dragons, where do they exist? How do they exist? And then think about this thing that is being told to you, and all this evidence is being provided about things like the dragons eating people on the other side of the world that you can't validate, that you can't see, you can't touch, you don't get to experience, but it gets told to you. You get told about this. And so again, it's coming from that mental space. It's coming from a place where anything's possible. The imagination is, the sky's the limit there. And so ultimately, when you encounter a situation, think about how it makes you feel, and then think about the other responses that your body, your spirit, and your mind would all have to do to align to be able to give you that understanding that there really is a dragon on the roof, on top of the house, on top of the building, that's ready to eat you when you step outside your house. Is it there? Is it not there? How can you discern it? When you approach any situation in life, what is that dragon? How can you use the other senses to confirm or deny the existence of that dragon? Before you go, like and comment so other people can find this content too. If you think you might be coming back, feel free to subscribe. I don't put out a lot of content, and you'll be able to easily find my channel again. Also, don't forget about the website. It is a tool for you. Registering and logging in is free, and it gets you all the information about all of my cards. Or if you're feeling courageous, maybe even purchase a tarot card reading. When I do readings, I basically will have you on the phone, record you, and we'll go through this process. It usually lasts about an hour, and we'll get into subconscious answers for your questions. Another way of helping me out is to share one of my videos on your social media. Any way that you can get my information out so that it can help more people, because the information is already there. Another way you can support me is to buy my children's book, A Loving Saint, Sai Baba. I was the illustrator. I work with Arthi as the author on this book. You can find it on Amazon. And thank you for the support. May these videos find you happy and healthy.